For plebs, by plebs, dropping the Bitcoin only signal. Pleb Underground. Welcome everyone to the Pleb Underground.
Welcome back to Pleb Underground. The Earth is an oblate spheroid. It's not round. Shitcoiners. They suffer from greed, blinkered eyes. The gaslighting believed. Then they get rugged by Sam Bankman-Fried. There is no second best. Bitcoin is what you need. Hold your own keys. Self-custody is a must. And please run your own node. Don't verify. Trust.
Sorry, I was muted and speechless all at the same time. Walton, that was awesome, man. I think that was your best rhyme yet.
Crazy week, man.
Yeah, this week has been absolutely nuts. Look, as you guys guessed it, this is the Pleb Underground, and we've got Rick from Cryptocloaks. Rick, thank you very much for joining us on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Rickety Rick.
Awesome. All right, guys. We've got a pretty crazy show for you today. We were going to do our normal, the numbers, the hopium, the Shitcoin Corner, but it was just such a crazy week that we feel this whole week was a Shitcoin Corner. So you know what? We're going to dive into the numbers, and then it's pretty much just a whole entire show of Shitcoin Corner, and we finish it off with an interview with our boy, Rick from Cryptocloaks. So without further ado, let's dive into the numbers.
The numbers, of course, brought to us by timechainstats.com. That's timechainstats.com.
At the time of this recording, the block height is 762,756. The Bitcoin price, 16,774. Actually, you know what? That's the fiat exchange rate. Is that correct, Walton? Fiat exchange rate, 16,778. The total public Lightning capacity, 5,123.47. Moscow time, 59:59. Does that mean something? Could mean something. Who knows? Anyways, chain rewrite days.
Better if it was 58:58.
I don't know. I have no idea, but who knows? It doesn't matter. Anyways, chain rewrite day 751. Guys, these are the uneventful numbers. Wow, what a week. Any comments on those before we dive into something that's not depressing?
One more number. I believe there's one fewer billionaires in the world.
There is one fewer billionaire in the world. That's true.
He's got $3 now, so that's good.
You know, he just wanted to give it all away to charity, and in a way, he did.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. Okay. Anyways. All right. Let's dive into some hopium. So look, even though we saw a giant exchange shit the bed this week, and a whole bunch of people realize that funds not safe on that exchange, we're gonna switch gears, and we're gonna look at something that gives us a little bit of hope for the numbers before we dive into the very expansive Shitcoin Corner. Check this out, at Geyser Fund. Pretty interesting. I feel like I had heard about this a little while back, but didn't follow up on it. Anyways, there's some Bitcoiners involved in this. Lightning native crowdfunding and grants for Bitcoin. We go take a look at that. We can see right here, here's some of the projects that they got going on and what people have donated to them. So if I'm not mistaken, Walton, you had mentioned the crypto couple had recently joined. So if you have like a video or something.
Have you never heard of Geyser before?
No, I had heard of it, honestly, but I never dug into it, man.
Sorry,
there is so much.
Yo, Geyser's fucking awesome. Sorry for swearing.
Nice.
Geyser's awesome. I've been donating. I think I donated to like 7 different things on there, like Hero Bitcoin making the game on the Game Boy, the Bitcoin racing team. I don't even know what else. There's so many on there.
Oh, that's awesome. I honestly did not. I didn't really think of it. I mean, look, you know how it works.
A few months, but I think, Phil, you're usually maybe slightly behind on some of the Lightning stuff, right? Like you're not so super keen on Lightning.
I used to be a lot more keen on Lightning, and then I started to do the podcasting more often and started tinkering a lot less. So that's what ended up happening, right? We changed the time preference, changed the the hobbies, And so now it's all about making clips and creating content instead of playing with the Lightning node. Pretty much the extent of my messing around with the Lightning node involves running updates and sending Lightning payments, or receiving Lightning payments. But that's about it. I should probably play more with it, and it's too bad that I don't. Talking about Lightning, folks. Talking about Lightning.
Yeah, there's lots. I think there's lots of cool stuff you can do. I think it's something I need to kind of go back and learn more about. 18 months ago, I think I was pretty up to date, but a lot has changed.
All I know is LN Bits is also pretty cool because we literally set up a playlist where anybody
for
could
point of
make
sale
songs.
systems.
Don't cut him off.
Yeah,
don't
like
cut him off,
we
Walton.
literally,
Let
it's
him
okay.
talk.
I don't give a shit.
Rick, I'm
literally
sorry.
made a Spotify playlist where anybody in the community could add songs to, and then I had it streaming 24/7 in the shop. And then you could go onto our website and do a Lightning invoice and change the song and queue it up in the shop. So you could literally play all these random songs that you wanted in the shop, and I'd have it 24/7. But Spotify changed their code, so I got to fix that.
Didn't someone put it so there was one song on repeat for ages?
Yeah, what the hell was that? What? Yeah, it was the word. It wasn't even Rickroll.
No?
What the hell was it? I forgot which
sure?
song it was, but it was literally like 30 times. I really started to get sick of it, and I was like, I should just cancel this. But I was like, I can't. They spent sats, so
So I'm stuck listening to this.
Stuck listening to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you know what? I think after I made the gumball and the point of sale thing, after I did those two projects, I was like, okay, I'm happy with this. I feel comfortable with this. I'm good. I'm happy with my node now. So, but look, there is tons of amazing stuff for people who do want to follow some really fun Lightning developers. You may want to check out Rootsall, check out guys like OpenNoms, Arc BTC. Is he still at BTC Socialist on Twitter? I know that handle pisses a lot of people off. Or he changed it to Arc BTC. Anyways,
yeah, it's Arc
Ben,
BTC.
He's awesome. He is an awesome Bitcoiner. He does a lot of these really cool projects. He is responsible for the majority of these point of sale systems. So anyways, that's what I had for the numbers, guys. Just, check out the Geyser Fund. They're helping Bitcoiners realize their dreams, apparently.
Phil, there is a special PlebNet group for these kind of developers called PlebNet Advanced. It's kind of an alpha testing group, but it's got like all of those guys in, as well as guys like Alex Severin and a couple other small world LND or something like that. Guys building all these kind of tools. Grid Flare's another guy. Yeah, like there's a real good group there. PlebNet Advanced. So if you're in the PlebNet group, you can just ask about it, or if you're not in PlebNet, go to kycjelly.com. That's kycjelly.com.
I'm like, that is a real URL. Okay, but we're going to provide these URLs in the show notes.
It is KYC. Yeah, the C is very important.
It's because you said jelly. Anyways, if you don't have anything else, Walton, for the numbers, we are going to move to the Shitcoin Corner. You have anything else for the numbers?
No, I think that's good.
Well, we are diving into the Shitcoin Corner.
The Shitcoin Corner is sponsored by Cryptocloaks. At Cryptocloaks.com, you can order a wide variety of Bitcoin goodies, from the Hodlernaut helmet, space cap, with half of the money going to defending BTC.com, a very worthy cause in the fight against evil. Here you see Phil also modeling the Honey Badger. Has a secret compartment in which you can keep your FUD dice, or perhaps a signing device. If you use the code PlebUnderground at Cryptocloaks.com, you receive 5% off your order. Once again, that's Cryptocloaks.com or Cryptocloaks.eu, I believe, because now you've gone worldwide. Is that right, Rick?
Yes, nailed it. I was just about to interrupt you and say .eu too.
Also brought to you by RepresentLTD.com. Check them out. High quality clothes. That's right. Bitcoin branded. I'm moving back behind my mic. There we go. That's right. Very nice threads. And they've got a coupon for 10% off pleb-underground. Check them out. RepresentLTD.com. All right, everyone. Before we dive into the Shitcoin Corner, this week has definitely been difficult for a lot of people quote unquote, in the crypto space. You know, an exchange like FTX of that magnitude going under because of, you know, just blatant neglect and ignorance and greed. It just affects everybody. So, you know, we're not clowning on the people who, you know, who got wrecked by holding their funds on the exchange, because there's people from all walks of life. Okay. Not everybody can afford these types of losses. And the reality is that, you know, tomorrow is still another day, and, you know, like, you got to just keep moving forward. So I just want people to, you know, just want to make sure that the takeaway is that we're not clowning on the people who got wrecked, but we do want to draw attention to the people that are involved in knowingly wrecking everybody. So, yeah, that's my public service announcement before we dive into the Shitcoin Corner.
Well said, but not your keys, not your coins. It should at the bare minimum be a lesson on why self-custody is important.
It's the simplest goddamn rule. Follow it.
This is all true. This is all true. All right, well, without further ado, let's dive into the Shitcoin Corner. Oh, God.
Right, they say there's two rules, right? The first rule is not your keys, not your coins. The second rule is don't do shit coins or you get fucked in the ass. And here they everyone broke both rules, and it went horribly wrong.
Brought to you by Walton. Brought to you by Walton. He's not wrong, though. He's not wrong. You know, when I asked Walton to come and be a co-host on the show, the one thing he said to me is radical transparency. And he has not fallen from that. Let me tell you, he has not strayed from that in any way. Okay.
Guys, don't forget, Shitcoiners put the anal in chain analysis.
It's a serious show, Walton. We're trying to provide people signal. We're going to start off by going back in time. This is a tweet from Pete Rizzo. This tweet was recent, but this article is not. This is from November 11th, 2021. Exactly a year ago from the time of this recording. FTX, US beats Kraken, Coinbase as America's most liquid crypto exchange. Oh, look at that. Things were wonderful. Sam was on the top of the world, right? He was just building up the most liquid exchange. The, you know, political party that he was backing, that, you know, that he was in favor for, just, you know, taken office. What could go wrong for FTX?
What a hero.
Well, what a hero. That's right, Rick. Hero indeed. And this is I got to give a shout out to Art by Design, low-key Bitcoiner, very low-key Bitcoiner. And I just absolutely love this graphic, because this definitely says it all, because we are going to fast forward to the present day. I spent way too much time on this. Don't print shitcoins, folks. It will end in tears. Just stick to Bitcoin and stack sats into cold storage. Don't feed the shitcoin casinos. This is an awesome graphic of SBF, what's supposed to be SBF, crying on the can. So very well done, Art by Design, very well done. So look, this week we covered the entire SBF debacle with an A, right? Not an I. We covered the entire SBF debacle and what happened in 3 separate clips.
How do you guys say it? I thought it was debacle, but
it's debacle. No idea. But I pronounce it. Sounds like I'm saying debacle, but I'm saying debacle, but without the emphasis on the second A. But anyway,
I was so confused.
I know it's confusing, because there was a comment made on our last YouTube show that they're like, is he saying debacle with an I? I'm like, no, it's just the pronunciation. Of course I know it's an A. Anyways, we're going sidetrack here. The point is, we did 3 videos on the FTX blow up. Okay, this exchange blow up, and how essentially they were valued at $32 billion 4 days ago, and now Sam Bankman-Fried is in the position where he owes approximately $8 billion. We covered it in 3 videos. We're going to put links to those 3 videos right up somewhere here as soon as I figure it out somewhere on the screen, so that if everybody wants to go back through the history, they can. Or down, yeah, I don't know. But we're gonna even show it somewhere on the screen. We're gonna try. Anyways, I'm still learning.
Right, but today we're gonna look at Today we're going to look at what's unraveled since then, and the fallout, of which there has been quite a lot, and which there will be much more of.
Yeah, and a bit more than that. I think we're going to take a bit of a tinfoil hat turn to this whole thing, and we're going to just kind of show a different angle, because right now everybody's kind of focused on, the money portion of it, which obviously is huge, but the money goes to people, and people, right? People have causes and they fight for those causes and they do it with money. So we're gonna take a look at where this trail kind of leads, and it's kind of weird. And I got to tell you guys, there are so many angles to this FTX story that we're just going to do our best to not confuse anyone. Okay. Walton, before I dive into some of the more political stuff, do you want to touch on some stuff?
Maybe just first, let's just have a look at the organizational chart.
Oh my God.
I think you may have heard that. I think it was
It's gonna be
130.
easy.
Was it 133 or 127, something like that?
It was 130. I think it was 132.
132, sorry, that declared bankruptcy. Here you see many of them, as well as some key individuals. This blue box up the top here is Sam Bankman-Fried, and the various entities that he owns in part. So you have Alameda Research, Alameda Research Ventures.
Oh my gosh.
All these ones. FTX trading is over here. But essentially, once again, in the shitcoin world, we see complexity they think is a feature, when we know quite clearly that it's a bug.
Isn't that all shell companies? It's got to be, right?
I think there's a bit of that sort of thing, and it's also about this to create this illusion of I believe they call them Chinese walls. The idea that information is separate between these different companies, when actually I think it's come to light, that not only were Alameda trading against FTX customers, using the order book presumably, but they were doing so using FTX client funds. Now I actually called this out as a prediction back in June. I shared a tweet because it happened with BitMEX as well, and Arthur Hayes' trading firm, that they were trading against their customers. They say, history doesn't repeat, but it does rhyme. Well, this time it did both.
I have to admit that organizational chart looks an awful lot like the Ethereum roadmap. Yeah, I did a video on that back when I was on Simply Bitcoin, and it was hilarious to begin with. The names are ridiculous. And then obviously the blatant confusion. This looks exactly like it. And I noticed that there's 3 entities at the top. And I noticed that besides the FTX known entity, these 2 other entities are relatively unknown. Anyways, look, we're going to have a link to that chart in the show notes. So if people want to go back and dig through it, I even saw one, if I'm not mistaken, there was Ledger one of the entities there? I saw something like Ledger Group.
There's like Ledger X and stuff, but I think it's different. Yeah, it's not.
They bought Ledger X,
Okay.
which was like I believe like a kind of shitcoin trading platform or something like that.
Oh, Ledger X.
Not the hard
I remember
wallet.
that.
Yeah,
That was the last. That was the last cycle. Okay, not the hardware wallet. All right. Okay, so here we're gonna. So you guys saw. So look, thank you. Sorry, signing device, not a wallet. We don't want to confuse anyone.
Say it twice.
Signing device. There, you happy?
Signing device.
Look,
Nice.
See, look. You even got Rick. You even got Rick saying stuff double. So this is. There you go. You should be proud. So look, SBF had a lot of aspirations. He had a lot of aspirations, and he wanted to help people, and he wanted to help fund it, through politics. Anyways, something that's interesting that happened after this whole thing blew up. There's this article over here that came out yesterday. Senators moving forward with the SBF-backed bill after FTX collapse. So this is where I started to think that maybe all of this is not as random as some people like to think. Okay? Because this is kind of weird. Keep in mind, he is the perpetrator of this giant collapse. Just keep that in mind while I read this. Authors of legislation to increase federal oversight over shitcoin exchanges and underlying spot markets pledged to move forward on legislation in the wake of FTX's shocking collapse. Sam Bankman-Fried was a major proponent of the bill, which led to friction between him and other industry leaders. Embattled FTX CEO Sam Bankman-Fried has been the strongest industry proponent of the bill, known as the Digital Commodities Consumer Protection Act. Bless you. The bill would grant the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, one of the 2 U.S. markets regulators, more power over cryptocurrency markets and exchanges. Okay. So I want you guys to think about this. He's the perpetrator of the biggest blow up. I do have it on some very good authority that people working in FTX, people that were quote unquote very close to the source, had no idea that this was going to blow up. Okay. And then all of a sudden,
some lost, 6, 7, 8, even 9 figures.
That's right.
Because they were, I think, incentivized to essentially pool their money into FTT, and then they were getting bumps on that.
And I want people to think about this. So he's the perpetrator behind this, and then all of a sudden, right? All of a sudden, the bill that is pretty much meant to fight this type of behavior that he was a very strong proponent of is getting pushed through. So it almost seems like what do they call that? Is when
insert Alanis Morissette music?
Yeah, I mean, it almost seems like he pretty much blew himself up to put through this bill for a bunch of cronies. Anyways, that's my opinion so far. Walton, before we continue on to some of the strange political shenanigans, do you have anything that you want to throw in?
Yeah, let's just have a little look at Alameda, which was kind of his kind of core team, right? The guys that he basically had a bunch of them living in. He had some $200 million house in Hong Kong with 10 people living there.
In Bahamas.
No, they lived in Hong Kong, but I think so. FTX is based in the Bahamas, but Sam was living in Hong Kong. Anyway, a bunch of them have maths degrees. But it's quite clear they can't do the numbers, and they're doing a lot of amphetamines, but they don't seem to be good adders at all. It doesn't quite add up what was going on, but it seems like they were it was some sort of, I don't know, millennial vegan, Zoomer vegan orgy house, where they were all kind of up to a whole load of shenanigans. But let me just show you this team, because they look very young. They do look very young. So this is the Alameda team. To me, this looks like a student, like a university student. It's like, hey, I'm a first-year student doing sociology, and I like the color green. I don't, whatever the little profiles say, but somehow apparently these guys were managing tens of was it like $16 billion? $16 billion?
Oh
and they're all living together. And I think so. Caroline apparently was someone else's girlfriend, but maybe Sam sleeping with her. She does look a bit like is she related to Elon Musk's former wife? I don't know. It's a good question. But there's some funny footage of her. I mean,
yeah.
Look at these guys. Like, if they're not students, they look like pretty fresh graduates, right? Not to say that, young people can't be capable of doing a whole bunch of different things, but these guys went from managing, millions to billions in a course of 2 years or something. The ascension to managing these large sums was very quick, and they were not experienced. And it wasn't a few months back when 3AC blew up. They actually were a bit suspicious of Sam themselves, and I want to play you a little clip. So this was in a Twitter Spaces a few months ago with 3 Arrows Capital. Brad Mills, the first to speak here.
Is that because he liquidated you though? Maybe a little biased.
No, because I don't even trade there. It's a complete scam exchange.
They're talking about FTX.
I told you he can liquidate assets that are not even on FTX. You put your Bitcoin on a ledger, and 3 years later you open your ledger and the screen is broken. This fucking FTX did it. SBF did that. He broke your screen. He took your Bitcoin.
Do you know how they do that? Like, do you know the mechanics? Because probably maybe you can use it next time, no?
I think I have a theory. I have a hypothesis, but I cannot prove it. But if you look at SBF, how he like physically evolved over the years, you see he's becoming more and more like shapeless. Like he's turning into a blob. So I think he can just like enter your house through any cranny, nook, or like little gap you have in the house. He just enters because he has no bones. He's just a big fat blob, and
He's
then
like
he finds
Santa
your ledger.
Claus.
No, Santa Claus is nice. SBF is not nice. He's evil. He's like the Antichrist. And he liquidates you, and then he buys the rights to a stadium name.
Right.
Wow.
And buys the rights to a stadium name. Like it was there's some
Wow.
jokes there, but then there's some serious points, right? This guy was trading against his customers, and then he's very, very carefully applying the money in a whole whole set of ways to give himself more credibility. And this is something we talked about months ago, right, Phil? The crypto, the shitcoin scammers were coming after the sports gamblers. And so crypto.com, FTX were buying stadium rights, and they were paying people, right? They were paying people like Tom Brady and Giselle to push their product to those kind of, you know, the people that follow those kind of individuals. And it's, people think, oh, these celebrities, they're making a little bit of extra sponsorship from these kind of companies, but actually this is just another affinity scam. It's bad enough that these shitcoiners affinity scam Bitcoin with their shitcoins, but now they're affinity scamming successful sports people, successful business people, in order to take their audiences and to kind of buy themselves credibility in front of different people. And not only do we see that, you know, in the kind of marketing side, but we also see it in the regulatory side, right? I believe Sam was the second largest donor to the Democrats this cycle, and there's some suspicious timing, right, Phil, around when certain things are getting approved for Sam, when donations are being made to the Democrats. I believe Sam's parents are themselves some sort of regulators. Is that right, Phil?
Yes. So, you know what? It's interesting you bring that up. And before we dive into this next part of it, I just want to mention, right, Bitcoin is apolitical money. You know, this is not a political show. It's not red, blue, pink, purple. I don't give a shit what color you think your political party is using.
Right. Donate money to whatever political party
it doesn't matter. Yeah, exactly. Like, it makes no difference. Okay. For me, they're all government. I don't care. And I always say that all government is government. So it makes no difference. You're not going to tell me because they're wearing a different color, they're cheering some different cheer that, anyways. All right. I'm just going to go on a rant that's going to go nowhere for a while. But this is about potential corruption, right? That's right. Potential corruption. That's right. Walton's keeping us honest. Here we go. Okay. So,
well, it's not going to be Sam, is it?
No, it's not going to be Sam. That's for sure. Okay. So here we go. This is October 14th. Okay. FTX's Sam Bankman-Fried backs down from dumb quote about giving $1 billion to political races. Now, whatever. That's just a garbage title. You know, it's just a clickbaity title. To me, this is where it gets interesting. Bankman-Fried
surely the only races that Sam does are to the fridge.
Ding. Okay. Anyways. All right. Okay. So here we go. Bankman-Fried has reportedly invested around $40 million in political action committees and campaigns this year in the run-up to midterm elections. Here's the signal. This is where it gets a little weird. The FTX CEO has been the driving force behind the Protect Our Future PAC. Now, look, I've said this 1,000 times. I come from a Fortune 500 company. That's where I worked for the last 15 years. Look, political action committees, they tell you that they try not to influence your vote, but then they call you into a meeting to tell you how you should vote and how it's how it's the best thing to do for your current employer if you want your current employer to stay in business. Anyways, It's just all nonsense and garbage. I know the political action committees have other functions as well, but that is my experience with political action committees. Anyways, let's go take a look at this Protect Our Future PAC. This is hilarious. Protect Our Future is an organization designed to help elect candidates who will be champions for pandemic prevention. That's right. Our country's leaders failed to prepare for a pandemic experts warned for years was possible, and the result was more than 1 million preventable American deaths, trillions of dollars in economic damage, school closures, loss of freedoms, and untold suffering. Washington still has not learned its lesson and has responded to the COVID crisis by underinvesting in pandemic prevention and leaving our country susceptible to another catastrophe. We take a look at some of the key principles here. We can and need to act now to prevent the next pandemic. We need real funding, real federal funding for pandemic prevention. Okay, so look, guys, no amount of money is going to stop an actual pandemic. Okay, and we're not going to get into the whole specifics about this because this show has nothing to do with the virus that shall not be named. Okay, has nothing to do with it at all. But that right there is it is a sinkhole of money that disappears for absolutely nothing and no good reason, and they will never have any meaningful impact, and it is so sad and pathetic. And don't get me wrong, but
does it disappear though? Because my understanding is that Bill Gates is finding that the returns on vaccines are far more than returns on other things. I believe he's been quoted saying so.
Oh yeah, no.
That...
For us, it disappears, but for them, it becomes an asset. Right? For the people who have the means, it becomes an asset. But for the average person, it just disappears and it becomes part of the load that we carry. So it's a little bit different. Were you guys aware of? I personally, to be honest, I guess I just ignored him before this whole explosion. But I wasn't aware that he was, that he was so active in funding absolute bullshit.
I just found out like in the last day or 2 days. So it's like, holy shit.
It doesn't surprise me because he seems increasingly kind of intertwined with movements bigger than himself, right? He's trying to cozy up to political elites. And I think it goes both ways, right? The tentacles go both ways.
I think you're absolutely right. Now look, I'm gonna share my screen again. This is another I think this is another tweet. And again, right, like I said, there are many legs to this story, and this one's kind of interesting. This is from Rudy Havenstein. Walton and I discussed this before the show, so here we go. Is there anything false in this post someone sent me? Seems like the Biden administration had very close and financial beneficial ties to FTX. Might be something a mainstream reporter would want to look into. If this is fake, I'll delete it, and you guys will notice that he still has not deleted. Now, Rudy, I mean, look, again, we don't like necessarily to trust, but at the same time, he still hasn't deleted this tweet. So let's take a look at it. So there's Barbara Fried and Sam Bankman-Fried, and here we go. So Joe Biden announces and this is April 25th, 2019. Joe Biden announces his presidential campaign 13 days later on May 8th, 2019. Sam Bankman-Fried, son of Barbara Fried. Okay, so that's her son. The co-founder of the political fundraising organization Mind the Gap and Get Out the Vote organizations, including the Center for Vote Information, launches the FTX crypto exchange. The exchange is an overnight success that enables Sam to become the second largest donor to the Biden campaign. Don't get me wrong, right? But then you start to look back, you start to look back at some of this, and it really starts to make you wonder, how do we make this money come from somewhere, and how do we make it look like it's not our own? And that to me is kind of what we're looking at. I mean, that's the way it seems. I understand, right? It's the tinfoil hat stuff. It's the conspiracy stuff. But is it?
Well, I don't know.
What do you guys? Huh?
If you were running a big Ponzi, surely what you do when it starts breaking down would be to make sure you've got the right kind of lawyer to make it seem as if you haven't been up to no good. Oh, coincidentally, FTX's new CEO, John Ray III, was the lawyer that was brought in to clean up Enron.
You know how to pick winners, huh?
You literally can't make that shit up.
You can't. You really can't. And I believe the day before, something like the whole legal and compliance team basically quit. Obviously, there's probably a bit of jumping ship before you get too wrecked.
Walton, I mean, at this point, you're going to tell me that Justin's son got involved.
It's interesting you mentioned Justin Sun, Phil, because actually that's exactly what happened, what transpired. And I mean, you know that like meme where it's like straight to jail straight away. I feel like that should be a kind of applied to this whole situation, but especially this bit, right? Not just what Sam's been up to before, but now kind of seemingly in the cleanup, we've got Justin Sun essentially vulturing the value of FTX customers. And FTX aren't going to tell you exactly how, but don't worry, we'll fill in the gaps. So FTX yesterday announced that they've reached an agreement with Tron to establish a special facility to allow holders of TRX, BTT, JST, SUN, GFY, and HT to swap assets from FTX one-to-one to external wallets. Now, what does that mean? I thought everything in FTX is locked, so customers can't get their funds off. So why is this happening? Why are these customers able to get the funds off? Okay, let's see why that is. Now, okay. Oh, this is interesting. The amount deposited will depend on a number of factors, as withdrawal demand and funding capacity to be provided by Tron. They'll be disabling Tron deposits for all users. The only deposits will be the pre-announced deposits conducted weekly by the Tron team. So only Tron.
So they literally locked up Tron customers.
Okay, that's interesting. Blah, 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 blah. Who cares? Now, the bit I don't have here is that apparently Tron is trading apparently at $1 on FTX and 5 cents elsewhere. So not only are somehow customer funds essentially being vultured by Justin Sun, they're being done so at a 20-to-1 ratio. So basically, it's like, imagine if you have, I don't know, let's say you're unfortunate enough to have had $1,000 of Bitcoin on FTX. Your only way of getting value off there right now is to sell that for Tron, or I guess sell it for a stable coin, and then whatever it is. Maybe you have to do a couple of trades, but the point is you'd have to essentially buy massively overinflated Tron at 20x. So essentially you'd be getting $50 of Tron but paying $1,000 for it. You then transfer that $50 of Tron off the exchange to another exchange and sell it. So you're getting what's that? 0.5 cent on the dollar? No,
you're literally getting rug pulled,
right? 5 cents on the dollar. 5 cents on the dollar.
No, Rick just nailed it. Rick just nailed it.
5 cents on the dollar.
You're literally getting rugged on a rug pull.
Right, you're getting
unfucking believable.
So
how insane is that?
It's like the guy running the lifeboat is demanding that you give him not one but both of your kidneys to get on the boat.
I'm gonna die though. He's like, I don't give a shit. That's the only way you're getting on this boat.
That's the deal.
But Phil, wasn't it? I think we ran a story a few weeks back where some guy actually sold his kidney to buy an NFT. So I'm not dreaming about this. The price of shitcoin is going up.
Think about the Tron bag holders though. Like, imagine you were dumb enough to hold this bag for all these years, and all of a sudden, like, let's be honest, you're finally getting your chance to dump this crap, and he blocks you from dumping it.
That's the funny part. Like, it sounded to me in those tweets like he's literally blocking every customer that has Tron on there, but he is now in control of what Tron goes in and out. So he can be like, nah, you guys can't get yours, but I'm taking my Tron out so I can sell it later. He literally fucking rubbed everybody just like Solana did, like today or whatever yesterday, where they're literally blocking people, taking it out of like unlocking it to sell theirs early before everybody else fucking dumps. I fucking hate shitcoins. It's so
awful.
unbelievable.
But once
Okay.
again, this is all intertwined with the kind of politics, because Justin Sun, I believe, essentially bought himself a residency and then became ambassador of some Caribbean island. Well, of course, FTX, also based in the Caribbean. Why are all these, shitcoiners having things based in the Caribbean? It's not just because of the weather, it's because they're not being regulated to the same level as, say, in the United States, United Kingdom, or Europe, where they may have slightly more stringent regulations. Obviously, you should be buying Bitcoin and you don't need a custodian or an intermediary. But if you are going to be using custodians, maybe you want them to be based in jurisdictions that have slightly more stringent standards.
No, I think that's a very good point. I think that's a very good point, Walton. Sorry, I was just thinking of a title for this episode. I was like, oh my God. I'm like, as he's talking, I'm like, that's the title. I'm like, that's what it is. Okay, no, but look, I mean, this is just absolutely brutal. I actually don't believe that we've seen the full fallout from all of this, because to your point, Walton, so many of these shitcoiners are intertwined with each other. It almost seems like they have no choice but to work together. Otherwise, the liquidity leaves all of them. So
Bill,
it's not just one of them. Yeah.
But that's I think it's apparent to Bitcoiners, but the reason that all of these shitcoins pump is because of coordination between these kind of whale entities in moving these slosh funds around from one to the next. It's all a charade, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was Odell who said actually that there's a bunch of ETH staked that will probably get liquidated before users actually even have the functionality to custody it again.
That's exactly right. And it's just completely insane. And speaking of custody services, right?
Yeah, fuck shitcoins, like
Fuck
seriously.
shitcoins. But you know what else? Fuck BlockFi. So interestingly enough, right? And Pirate actually put out a tweet about this yesterday. As soon as he found out about FTX, he put out a tweet saying, "What happens to BlockFi now?" And then people started wondering, right? What does BlockFi have anything to do with? Yeah, what just happened here? So here's a tweet, November 10th, yesterday, 2022. We're shocked and dismayed by the news regarding FTX and Alameda. We, like the rest of the world, we're heavily over-leveraged. No, that's my own adding. That's my own addition there. Found out about this situation through Twitter. Given the lack of clarity on the status of FTX.com, FTX US, and Alameda, we are not able to operate business as usual. That's right. Supposedly, unrelated, not the same business, but somehow they're not able to keep business as usual for whatever reason. Our priority, and this is some absolute bullshit word salad. Our priority has been and will continue to be to protect our clients and their interests. So why did you rehypothecate their funds? Why are you fucking with their money? Why do you not care about other people's value like you care about your own? Because you're not incentivized to, and the system doesn't punish you for being bad actors. Anyways, until there's further clarity, we are limiting platform activity, including pausing client withdrawals as allowed under our terms. That's right. You signed for this. I was allowed to screw you over.
Add that. Yeah,
Sorry?
I love how they have to add that. You
Yeah.
guys allowed us when you accepted those terms, so we're halting them. So fuck you.
That's right. Okay? And this is exactly the point. This is exactly the point. These people are scumbag. These businesses, okay, they are not faceless. Those are human beings in there making terrible decisions for a large group of people, but very good decisions on a short-term basis for a very small group of people. Okay? And this is what happens. They are absolutely melting down and they're blowing up. And you know what? Again, right? The only people you gotta, if you're gonna feel anything, if you're gonna feel any kind of empathy or compassion, there are people who were not aware of this. Okay, they did not deserve to be wrecked. Okay, they did not deserve to lose their life savings in this. They genuinely didn't. Okay, and even though ignorance is not an excuse, it doesn't mean that you deserve some type of retribution just because you tried to partake, you know, in a system like that. I mean, don't get me wrong, but like the real culprit here is not the person who went and stored their funds on FTX. The real culprit is SBF and the people that were knowledgeable of what he was doing. Anyways,
Ironically, Phil, I think though if you use a sex, you may get fucked. Is kind of the point.
you know what? I'm gonna quote Sam Bankman. I'm sorry. Anyways, that's right. That was a tweet that he put out today or yesterday, which I couldn't. Walton, you're muted.
I'm sorry.
But can you imagine? We can't show Yellow's meme. I'm sorry, guys. There's two memes that we can't show. We are going to put them in the show notes, okay? There's NVK's meme, which is absolutely brilliant. It's a scene out of The Office, which illustrates the dumpster fire that FTX is, and an amazing meme by Yellow, okay, where he took an excellent South Park scene and superimposed SBF on it, and it is just absolutely amazing. We are going to put it in the show notes, guys. Walton, do you have anything else to wrap up this Shitcoin Corner segment?
I this was in the rhyme right at the start, but if you skipped ahead, once again, this highlights the importance of self-custody and of not trusting but verifying. So you should have your own offline signing devices, and you should be running a node. Now, talking about running a node. There's a bunch of different ways that you can do it, but it's very important that your hardware looks very sexy in your own home, right, Rick?
Yeah, exactly. That's what we do.
So maybe you wouldn't mind in the next section telling us a little bit more about sexy clothing for nodes, because you think nodes should be sent, but they also shouldn't be nude.
Yeah, every Bitcoin node is personal, so I think you should absolutely get some clothing for it.
I think Walton's trying to say no nudes. I think he just
doesn't. Going about as far as I could on that.
Yeah. He's like, so you want them to be sexy and they can't be nude, huh? This is kind of a predicament. Okay, that's right, guys. We've got Rick from Cryptocloaks, and we are gonna dive into an awesome chat with Rick. Rick has known me for a very long time. I've known him for a very long time. The first time I ever met him was before my Fun with Bitcoin podcast, which was an audio-only podcast. So he has seen me grow into this highly regarded individual that you see today. And I have watched his business grow into the amazing 3D printing behemoth that it is becoming. And I say it's a behemoth.
Let's not be ridiculous.
No, it is. It is. We're not being ridiculous. Okay.
I think my first encounter.
No one else makes cool shit.
My first encounter with Rick was when I was in the early days of PlebNet, and I told some PlebNet people that there was a Cryptocloaks code, and there wasn't one. But Rick is such a cool guy that he just made one anyway, and I believe he's made one for us. Is that right? No.
Yes.
Yes.
I totally remember when you did that in a Spaces. I think I was in, and I was like, wait, what the fuck? No, man, I don't have that code. I guess I'll go create one. That was good times.
Yeah, Rick has always said to me,
I feel like I've even been on Clubhouse, like pre Spaces.
It could have.
It really could have. That could have been like the virus that shall not be named times when Clubhouse was booming, right?
So
and then people were actually joining Clubhouse.
April, May, June of last year, Clubhouse was really good. And then it got infested by NFTs, and I had to leave, and Spaces kind of started coming up at the same time, May, June. So it worked out pretty well. So
Rick, we released a very in-depth interview today on PlebUnderground, one that you answered all those questions. That's right. We're going to post a link to that too in the show notes for the people that are interested.
Great. Thank you for that.
Pirate being an absolute pioneer with his asynchronous interviewing technique.
That's right.
Yeah, I'd just like to say it's kind of like back in like middle school when you get a homework assignment and you like fill out the very bare minimum, if that, and you hope for a good grade. And then they're like, oh shit, they're actually going to use it. And you're like, fuck, yeah. I did not fill that out at all.
Yeah, this is the Pleb Underground.
Yeah.
You know,
guys,
so we're going to use that. But look, you know, for the listeners who are, you know, maybe not going to read that interview, why don't you tell people what's your background? What got you into 3D printing? And more importantly, why are you 3D printing in the Bitcoin space?
Yeah, absolutely. So I got into 3D printing kind of right out of college. Senior design project. I was in charge of running the 3D printing aspect of it. Other people were in charge of the mill. And then there's like 5 other machines. And then after that, I kind of fell in love with it. And then I kind of went down the Bitcoin rabbit hole, probably 5 months right out of college. Kind of got interested in that. Then I got a ledger to store my Bitcoin because obviously store it yourself. And then after that, I said, hey, why am I leaving my ledger on top of my desk? It should be hidden somewhere. So I kind of modeled up a 3D design and printed it on my printer. And then I figured somebody else might want to buy it and hide their ledger also, and then created a Etsy store. And after the Etsy store I had running for like 6 months, I said, why the hell am I paying them like 25%? And I created the website. And then now we're here with, I don't know, I have 20 printers. We have a place now we're open in UK with Black Coffee running that area where he has 8 or 9. We got Mopar in the United States also running 9 printers and helping out with the mining areas. So it's crazy. Like I think we have almost a total of 40 printers now.
That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. And I remember when you first started and it was just you. I remember when it was
Right,
just
man?
you. And then, I'm sorry?
I said, right, man, it's crazy.
And
It is.
How many node cases could each printer make in a day?
So when I started, I had one printer that could print a node case, maybe one a day. And now Prusa's it's still probably roughly 15 to 16 hours to print it. But now that I have 20, I can pump them out way quicker than I used to.
So I just want to point out a very something that I believe is very important about what you said about your rabbit hole story, and I think that there's a good takeaway in that you saw something and you did it because you wanted to make yourself happy. You did it because you wanted to make yourself happy, and then you said, well, maybe other people would also find value in this. And
Yeah, 100%.
And that's what's really important, right? A lot of us, we believe that we can't do something that makes us happy. We believe that we have to do something that we have to do. Don't get me wrong, but this is one of those Bitcoin fixes this moments. Fiat money made it so. Fiat money made it so that a lot of us are doing things we do not want to be doing for money. And so it's absolutely, when I see somebody like you that's building out a business like this, it makes me happy. Helps me believe, helps me believe. So
No, 100%.
you're encouraging others, man. You're encouraging others. We really appreciate it.
I try because I truly believe, I think Bitcoin is the only reason that I get to do this. I think I would be pretty unhappy with how the world is all turning out if I didn't have Bitcoin. That's why I kind of look at like, oh shit, we are going to change for the better. If Bitcoin wasn't here, I probably would be in a depression, to be honest. Like seriously, it's crazy. The fact that I get to go to work every day in the shop, design, build products in Bitcoin, literally try to change the future that we all want. It gives me a purpose and a mission in life. Money's always comes second. If it happens, it happens. It's awesome because I don't have to do an engineering job while running a business. I can do this full time now, but I also get to give back and help build out like the home mining and stuff like that. So it is awesome. Like I literally get to do what I love every single day. And I thank the whole community for coming to buying my stuff because I wouldn't be able to do it if you guys didn't purchase it.
So Rick, in summary, you're saying because now you have your own printers going burr, you don't care about money print to go burr.
Yeah, 100%. 3D printers are the only burr I care about.
You know what? Smash the like right there. 3D printers are the only burr that we care about. I totally agree with him. I mean, this is exactly what it's all about. But look, besides that, I want to dive into, because look, I noticed that you do a lot of these specialty one-off projects, right? Like I saw you make these like casings for mining, for S19s or S9s. I'm not sure which actual ASIC.
Pants?
Sorry, pants? Is that what you're calling
the pants?
Pants? I don't know what they're called.
Oh my god, have you not seen the meme?
It's definitely
no.
pants.
I told you. Look,
there's like
Walton
2 leg
tells
holes, right?
calls me
Oh
a
my
boomer.
god. Oh my god, I wish I had the stickers. I got Ellen Prince literally printing these
Damn
stickers
it!
for it that I got my pair of pants. They should be coming
I'm
next
so
week.
old, I'm disconnected. I don't
Oh,
even know what you're
okay.
talking about. These things are called pants. Anyways, I went on your shop. I was like noticing. I'm like, man, this is awesome. So let me ask you something. Is this what's the story behind those? Is it that the miners approached you, or was it just that like you had your miner? Like what's the story behind those?
Yeah, so usually, I either come up with designs one or two ways. Either the community gives me an idea of what they want, or I want it myself and I use it myself. It's pretty much 95%. So I don't create products and I just tell people to buy them. I usually use them because they work and I actually need them for a cause. So the mining pants came along because I wanted to duck my mining heat out into a 6-inch duct that was already installed in my house. So I could either run miners in my house or heat my house, which I'm doing right now. So that's where the whole pants came from. And then Brecky actually came up with the meme. It says, I got my pants or some shit like that. And it's a whole thing. And now I think people are starting to call them mining pants no matter what. And that makes me happy because I truly just think it's hilarious. It's just mining pants.
I think that's absolutely awesome. Okay. Yeah, unfortunately this episode we filled it with so much of the FTX stuff. So let me ask you this. What look, as we mentioned as part of our ad.
No, you don't even need to have this part on there. I don't even care. FTX part was fucking hilarious.
No,
I don't care about this.
No, I do. I care about this. I want people.
The point is that the Bitcoin ecosystem does not consist of all the fucking shitcoiners. It consists of real plebs, building real businesses on a Bitcoin standard. People like yourself, Rick, right? Not only building a business on the Bitcoin standard, but also building cool things for Bitcoiners, and also to try and help the efficiency of Bitcoin, right? I'm sure your mining pants are actually adding efficiency to Bitcoin mining, even just a little bit.
Yeah, so we're working with distributed hash, and we have been running 10 pairs of pants on 10 amp miners and 10 watt miners. And so far the data is actually showing that it is improving them. And now we have some bigger testing going on in 2 mining facilities, which I can't talk about yet or name names until NDAs and all that shit is signed. But we have literally 50 pairs of pants on 50 miners in 2 facilities just to get feedback and collect more data on a big amount. So it'll be pretty awesome. I'm really excited for that.
And just to be clear to our listeners, if you don't know what mining pants are, they're essentially a kind of 3D printed plastic kind of exhaust to channel the hot air that comes out these mine.
Yeah, it's a 3D printed fan shroud for the exhaust and intakes of the ASIC miners themselves. We call them pants.
Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. All right, so Rick, where can people find you?
Cryptocloaks.com. We now ship directly from Europe, United Kingdom. So anywhere you guys can save on shipping, go there. I'm trying to help people because every now and then I see a Europe order on some products in the US that we can send from the UK. You guys can save way more money doing it that way. So that's Cryptocloaks.eu, Cryptocloaks on Twitter. Join our Telegram group at 3dprintingbitcoin.com. If you want to go down the 3D printing rabbit hole, you can go to 3dprintersgoburr.com, and Burr is with 3 R's. What else? I don't know. I have too many URLs, man. I start to
You're everywhere.
lose track. Yeah.
But
You're everywhere.
There's a 3D printing community, right, on Telegram, I believe.
Yeah, and
Yes.
it's a great community. Look, he's got people in there that are helping. There's noobs, there's professionals, everybody's helping each other. It's really a growing community. I can say that when I first got into 3D printing, I was asking 10 questions a day, and it was super annoying, but once I got the hang of it, it was fantastic. So everybody should definitely check it out. We are going to provide that link in the show notes. Guys, this was our show today. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to check us out. We do drop all of these episodes audio only on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, and Anchor. If you want to stream us sats, check us out on fountain.fm. You could stream us sats through Breeze. Walton, what am I missing?
Fuck shitcoins.
That's right. Fuck shitcoins. Guys, we will catch you on the next episode.